Let's talk about mindfulness. What exactly is mindfulness? From my perspective, mindfulness gives us the opportunity to integrate our conscious and our unconscious minds. It brings balance into our life, helping us to balance between our head and our heart. And often it's that kind of incongruence, that struggle between our head and our heart, that brings our clients into therapy with us. There are many different processes for mindfulness. Mindfulness is an experience of going inside. And so how does it work? Mindfulness turns off our internal sensors. It puts us back into a new form of balance inside of our mind. It stops us processing and questioning and thinking and evaluating. So it shuts those sensors off. We no longer censor ourselves. It bypasses our conscious interference, which is part of those sensors. And it makes memories more easily accessible. It brings up those memories because all memories are stored in the unconscious mind. And mindfulness opens up the unconscious mind to communicate more deeply with the conscious mind. Suggestions will help your brain. In mindfulness, we're often using suggestions. They might be visual suggestions, they might be verbal suggestions. We use mindfulness to change our faulty beliefs into beliefs that nourish and support us, that build our progress in life. One of the most powerful processes for changing beliefs and releasing negative emotions is accelerated emotional change therapy, which is part of this training. Mindfulness changes your feelings towards the issues into feelings that support your positive growth. It neutralizes those negative emotions, bringing balance and comfort into the past memories that used to hold those negative emotions. So now you can look at a past experience that used to cause you fear, and it can just be, oh, well, that happened. It's too bad it happened, and I've moved on. It can help us to reframe our learnings. The learnings that we made at the time, it's those learnings that create the beliefs and the values. So it helps us, mindfulness allows us or helps us to change those learnings, to reframe them, to put them in a different context so that we can have life-supporting beliefs. And so mindfulness often moves us back into times in the past. And that's what we generally call regression. And regression work helps you to access those past memories. It helps to release the emotions that are attached to those painful memories. Again, through accelerated emotional release therapy. So mindfulness is a very powerful process that we can use in our therapy and in our everyday life. Osho, who was a modern-day mystic, said, "It's a very strange experience that through deliberately creating a deeper sleep, your ordinary sleep, which we call awakening, can be removed, and you actually become awakened." And so mindfulness processes move us into our unconscious mind to clear those obstacles that have prevented us from connecting with our higher conscious mind. So once we make that connection, then we become integrated and awakened. You may remember on a previous lesson learning about the three selves, and so that's the dynamic of what happens through emotional release therapy and mindfulness processes. Now, also, the Mayo Clinic have jumped in to looking at mindfulness. They researched hypnosis and hypnotherapy, which is a mindfulness process. And what they said is the purpose of hypnosis or mindfulness as a therapeutic technique is to help you to understand and gain control over your behavior, your emotions, or your physical well-being. And so there's lots of information, lots of support for the power of mindfulness and hypnotherapy. And so there's some things that you can do to improve your ability or your connections that take place in mindfulness. These are directions that you can help to share with your clients so that they can deepen their move inside of themselves and deepen the change and the effect of their therapy. The first is for the client to imagine along with the suggestions. Now, you can also look at this from the perspective of yourself. If you were practicing mindfulness techniques yourself, it's also important to follow these suggestions. We want to imagine it. We don't want, when we're doing, say, a guided relaxation or a meditation, we don't want our mind to be wandering. We don't want it to be moving off into another direction. We want to be focused on what we're focusing on. If that's mantra meditation, we want to be focusing on the mantra. It's a visualization, we want to be focusing on the visualization. If it's affirmations, we want to be focusing on that. Whatever it is, we want to be focusing, imagining along with the suggestions. We want the suggestions to come alive for ourselves. Now, many people think of mindfulness processes and hypnotherapy as needing to be a visual experience. And many people are not very visual internally. And so it's important for our client to recognize that you can have as deep and profound an experience without being visual as you can with being visual. And so what's important is we want the emotions, we want the memories, we want the experience to come alive. And that is by deepening our thoughts, deepening our connection with visuals, so pictures, we want to make sounds, we want to have feelings and sensations in your body so that we expand that that connection. And as we deepen our imagination, as we deepen our thoughts, we go deeper into our own being, deeper into trance. It's not necessary in order for us to see it or feel it or hear it. It's just important for us to sense it in whatever way we need to. It's also important for our clients to know that they need to trust their unconscious mind. Often we second guess ourselves. We go, oh no, well, that can't be true. It's not that way. Or oh, my unconscious mind is trying to sabotage me, or whatever. It's important to for our clients to just step out of the way, for their conscious mind to step out of the way, and allow their unconscious mind and spirit to be in control. Whatever happens in the meditative process has purpose. It's appropriate, and our unconscious mind is setting the pace. So trust your client's unconscious mind. Trust them to guide you to where you need to go. And take an experimental attitude. Sometimes clients come very skeptical. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work, whatever. And so what I say to them is just take an experimental attitude. Just see what happens. Just explore it. Allow your conscious mind to evaluate after the experience. And during the experience, just be in the experience. Just allow it to happen. And feel free to take control of your thoughts. Feel free to, if there's some negative thought that's coming into mind, then just redirect your mind. Do whatever you need to do. Sometimes a client, for example, in doing emotional release work, it's important for the client at some points to be dissociated from the emotion, from the memory, so as to make it easier to process it, and until the emotion is gone. And so helping our client to recognize that. If you're feeling too much into the emotion, just dissociate, rise up, move away from it. So giving your client control so that they are not in, it is not that you're in control, you're not the one that's making them do this. They can step in and do what they need to do. Sometimes clients have various resources that they'd like to bring with them. Sometimes it might be a special rock, or maybe even a stuffed toy, or it might be that they have a spiritual guide that they want to bring and have present with them while they're doing the work. And so let them bring in those resources that they need to support them through the process. And be sure that we're dissociating from the trauma until the emotions and the beliefs are gone. Of course, after they're gone, we want to test it by associating, getting into the memory to make sure that it's all gone. But while we're releasing it, while we're studying it, while we're learning from that past memory, we want to be dissociated from it.